You wish to understand strength, yet you run from suffering. You pray for peace, yet you curse the very force that creates it. You ask what pain can teach you, as if it is merely an inconvenience rather than the greatest teacher this world has ever known. Listen carefully. There are lessons that comfort will never reveal. There are truths that only pain can carve into your soul. I have walked through war, through loss, through the silence left behind by those I loved. What I became was not shaped by happiness. It was shaped by suffering. The first lesson pain teaches is awareness. When everything is taken from you, when your world collapses, you begin to see reality without illusion. A child who has never known hunger believes food is guaranteed, but the one who is starved understands the value of every grain of rice. In the same way, a person who has never faced betrayal believes trust is automatic. The one who has been betrayed sees clearly who deserves loyalty and who does not. Pain removes the veil. It forces you to see the world as it is, not as you wish it to be. The second lesson is empathy. Those who have never suffered often dismiss the suffering of others. But when you have felt loss, when you have felt abandonment, you recognize it in someone else's eyes. A leader who has never tasted defeat will treat his followers like tools. A leader who has failed understands their fear and guides them with patience. When you have cried in darkness, you no longer mock the tears of another. Pain connects humanity through shared scars. The third lesson pain teaches is resilience. When you endure something you once believed would destroy you, you discover that you are harder to break than you imagined. A warrior who survives his first battle is never the same as before. The fear that once paralyzed him becomes controlled. A person who survives heartbreak learns that the heart, though cracked, continues to beat. Each time you endure suffering, your capacity expands. What once seemed unbearable becomes survivable. The fourth lesson pain teaches you is responsibility. It is easy to blame the world when you are comfortable. But when suffering strikes, you are forced to confront your role in your own circumstances. A student who fails an exam may blame the teacher until repeated failure forces him to admit he did not study. A fighter who loses may blame luck until he accepts that his training was insufficient. Pain corners you. It demands accountability, and in that accountability you reclaim power. The fifth lesson is the understanding of consequence. Many act without considering the weight of their decisions. They speak carelessly, they act recklessly, believing there will be no cost. But when their words destroy a relationship, or their impulsive actions create irreversible damage, pain becomes their instructor. A ruler who wages war without thought will one day walk through the ruins of his own village. A friend who lies will one day stand alone. Suffering reveals that every action echoes. The sixth lesson pain teaches is detachment. When you cling desperately to outcomes, to people, to expectations, suffering intensifies. But when you learn that everything is temporary, you begin to move differently. A merchant who loses his fortune and rebuilds from nothing understands that wealth is unstable. A person who loses status learns that identity cannot depend on applause. Through loss, you learn to stand without leaning on illusions. The seventh lesson is inner strength. There are moments when no one can save you. No friend can carry your burden. No mentor can solve your conflict. In those moments, you either collapse or you rise alone. A soldier separated from his allies must rely on his own skill to survive. A person battling doubt in the silence of night must confront his own thoughts without distraction. Pain isolates you, but in that isolation you discover your own foundation. The eighth lesson pain teaches is clarity of purpose. When you have nothing left, you are forced to decide what truly matters. A person who loses everything in disaster understands what is essential and what was excess. A shinobi who watches his village burn realizes what he is willing to protect at any cost. Suffering burns away trivial desires. What remains is purpose. The ninth lesson is humility. Pride often grows in comfort. You believe you are untouchable, superior, invincible. But one failure, one defeat, one unexpected loss reminds you that you are human. A champion who is defeated learns respect for his opponents. A genius who makes a critical mistake learns caution. Pain lowers arrogance and replaces it with awareness. It reminds you that strength must be maintained, not assumed. The final lesson is transformation. Pain changes you. You cannot pass through true suffering and remain the same. The question is not whether you will change, but how. A person betrayed may become bitter and destroy others, or he may become wiser and choose loyalty carefully. A child raised in war may spread violence or dedicate himself to ending it. Pain offers two paths: destruction or evolution. Understand this clearly. Suffering is not your enemy. It is a force, like fire. It can consume you or refine you. Steel is useless until it enters the furnace. Only under extreme heat does it become a blade. You ask why the world contains so much pain. Because without it, humanity would never mature. Without loss, you would not value connection. Without failure, you would not pursue improvement. Without fear, you would not seek courage. The weak curse suffering and demand comfort. The strong study suffering and extract its lessons. When you face hardship, do not ask why this is happening to me. Ask what is this trying to teach me. When you feel heartbreak, ask what illusion has been shattered. When you fail, ask what weakness has been exposed. When you lose, ask what must now be rebuilt stronger than before. Pain is direct. It does not whisper. It does not negotiate. It strikes. And in that strike, it demands growth. If you ignore its lessons, you will repeat the cycle. If you accept them, you will rise with deeper understanding. I did not become who I am through comfort. I became this through loss, through devastation, through witnessing the cruelty of this world. Every scar became insight. Every tragedy became conviction. You too will suffer. That is unavoidable. The only choice you possess is whether you remain a victim of your pain or whether you become its student. If you choose to learn, suffering will sharpen your awareness, deepen your empathy, strengthen your resilience, demand your responsibility, reveal consequences, teach detachment, build inner strength, clarify your purpose, humble your pride, and transform your very identity. That is what pain teaches. And once you truly understand it, you will no longer fear suffering. You will respect it. You will grow from it. And through that growth, you may finally understand the meaning of true strength.